Hey guys, Melissa from Melissa's Creations here, showing you a fun technique with the Thoughtful Branches stamp set. This set is available August 2nd through the 31st, and after that, it's going away. So if you do want to purchase this set, I highly recommend you get it as soon as you can in August, starting on the 2nd, because this is while supplies last. So if you don't already have a demonstrator, go ahead and give me a message or comment, or go to my website melissascreations.com and you can find my contact info there. I would be happy to get your business. So today we're going to use a few materials. I am going to do some embossing with the clear Stampin' Emboss powder. We also have three lovely colors from our Regals collection: Always Artichoke, Cherry Cobbler, and Crushed Curry. And I have a crumb cake base that I will be building my card on, and some scraps of Whisper White. So let's go ahead and get started. One of my most favorite things about fall is the beautiful colors on the tree leaves. It is just gorgeous. You have that green kind of background with the red and the orange starting to peek through, and it is simply stunning. So that's what I'm going to try to recreate on this card today. I have my Always Artichoke here. This is the older style pad, so it is still the felt top, and that's why I am mashing that color onto my stamp, because I really want some good green coverage. Okay, now I have that beautiful base. I'm going to take a sponge dauber, and with some Cherry Cobbler, I'm going to come in and ink a little bit of that up, just in a few places. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my Crushed Curry. That's what this yellow is here. And I'm going to come in and kind of go in between all of the red, the Cherry Cobbler that I just did. Okay. And maybe soften up a couple of those green patches there. So now I'm going to give it a huff and stamp. Now I should have thought to put my mat underneath. I wonder if my paper will stick well enough. There we go. Ah, haha, magic. Let's see if that comes through okay. We will be running this through the Big Shot. Gorgeous. Look at that beautiful variation in color. Mostly green, but I do have a little bit of that Cherry Cobbler and Crushed Curry peeking through. Now, if you'll notice on my stamp when I peeled it up, this notch here left a little mark, which is totally okay, because when we go to put our framelit on here, we'll be able to match that notch up with the notch on the framelit. So before we get our Big Shot out, I do want to stamp a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside for a moment. And on my background piece that will mount onto the base of my card, this is just cut at 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to take that same leafy stamp and ink that up again with that Always Artichoke. Smash it in there. Smash. Hulk smash. All right, and I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I am going to stamp off once before I apply my colors. And I want this base to have a little more depth to it. This is going to be underneath that previous layer that we stamped. Now be careful when you are inking up your dauber and putting it back onto your yellow ink pad, and as you can see, I was not very careful. I did transfer a little tiny bit of ink over in this corner, but I think after I use it more, it will probably go away. All right, let's do the huff again. And I want to stamp that up close to the middle. And this time I want to try not to get, I should have wiped that off, but I want to try not to get that top part onto my card. So I'm actually going to very carefully peel this off the opposite direction. And I did get a tiny, tiny boop, but you know what? I'm okay with that. Look at how gorgeous that color variation is. Oh, I just think that is so stunning. Now I am going to do the tree trunk, and so that I can get a good brown tone, I want that really warm also to complement the colors in my leaves. So what I am actually going to do is grab my blender pen, and I'm going to pick up some of the ink that I have pooled up in the top of my lids. And I'm going to go in with the yellow first, and I'm going to pick up as much as I can, and I'm going to transfer it to this block. You could also use your markers or your re-inkers to put a little drop on here, but I think this works just fine too. I'm going to clean that off a bit. You can see how much yellow I just picked up. And I want that to go until it runs just about clear. Now I can come back in with that red. And I'm going to blend those two colors together. I'm just going to I'm going to set that aside for just a moment. Now what I am doing on here is just streaking it up and down. I want long lines. There. I don't know if you can see that, but I've just streaked it up and down onto a clear acrylic block. So I am taking that same tree trunk from Thoughtful Branches, and I am putting that into my Always Artichoke. Now I want that nice and inky because I am going to stamp right over the top of that acrylic block where I colored in. I'm going to huff on this and then stamp it directly on. And if you hold it for just a second, you can see that the ink transfers lovely. Now what I'm going to do is take this stamp, huff, and stamp. Just give that some nice pressure, and when you pull it up, you'll have sort of a variegated look to your tree trunk. I like the green coming through, but it also has touches of brown from those two colors that we mashed together on our acrylic block. I have this piece that we did just a moment ago, and what I am going to do is stamp on top of it again with the clear Stampin' Emboss powder, just to give those top leaves a nice layer of shimmer. So I have the Versamark. I'm going to ink up my leaves. And I'm going to stamp that right over the top. And because this is photopolymer, you can see through it to line that up well. Give that a firm press, and then we can peel that off. And if you don't have a tray, Stampin' Up! Does not any longer, grammar police. Let's see, what's the right phrasing? Stampin' Up! No longer sells this style of a tray, but you can use just a piece of paper folded in half. Now I'm going to use a heat tool to heat that embossing powder up, and it'll give a nice shine. Look at how gorgeous that is. It gives us such a nice shimmer. Oh, it's lovely. I also want to cut out a few of these gorgeous leaves. There is a coordinating cutout piece, framelit for that. So I'm taking my cherry cobbler and I'm going to ink that up. And we'll just do one in the regular color first. And now without re-inking, I'm going to stamp it again to just get a very light image. I'm going to clean off that stamp. And now I will do my crushed curry. And I'll do that over here. And without re-inking, I'm going to go back over the red. And it gives me a gorgeous orange tone. Now I want a leaf that's slightly more variegated, so I'm going to start with my lighter color, which is my crushed curry. I'm inking up about half of that leaf, and I'm going to come in and with the darker color, ink up the rest. I'm trying not to get the stem too much. Okay, so you can see I have this image here. I'm going to take the darker of the two daubers and blur that line where those colors meet. And now I'm going to take that and just dip just the tip of the leaf in the green and also the stem. And I'll take that green dauber and soften that up too. Okay, now give it a good huff. And isn't that just the epitome of what a fall leaf looks like? Gorgeous. While I still have my green out handy, I'm going to bring in my base piece, and I have the grass from the same set, and I'm just going to add that to the bottom of my tree. Just one line is enough. I'm going to take the sentiment from this same set, I hope you feel appreciated, and I'm going to stamp that in cherry cobbler at the bottom of my card. Now I have my Big Shot out and I have my beautiful branches thinlets dies. I'm going to grab out that gorgeous tree thinlet. So much fun. And I am going to get out this little leaf guy over here as well. I am starting with the leaves and I have my thinlet here. You can see that up here at the top there is a point which will match up with our little mark that was left over when we stamped. So just line up your leaves and put the top plate back on very carefully so it doesn't move if you don't have a magnetic platform. I'm going to run that through twice. If you have the precision base plate as well as the die brush, that would make this a little easier, but you can see that my pieces, the little extra bits, are just nicely falling away. And I'll just come in with my paper piercer and poke a few of those stowaways out. I think I got, oh, got them. Okay, so we got them all. Like the Pokemon, gotta catch them all. And I'm just going to clean this out now. If you did have the die brush, that would make this job a little easier. And while my Big Shot is still out, I'm going to cut those leaves out with the framelit. I want to give those leaves a little bit of a shine, so I am going to pick them all up on my Versamark pad and just give them a press. And I'm going to peel them off and put them directly into my embossing tray. Back in that heat tool, and I'm going to use my paper piercer to hold these down so they don't blow away. Okay, I have all of my pieces ready to go. I'm going to fold my card base in half. This is crumb cake, lovely for this card. Before I adhere this down, I am going to bring in some linen thread. I love linen thread. It just makes it feel so fallish, doesn't it? Love it. I'm going to wrap that around the top. I have my tail over off to the left. So I'm going to wrap it once, twice, 3 times a lady. Give that a little tie. And I will even attempt a bow for you. Okay, I am ready to adhere this to my card base. I'm going to bring in my fast fuse. We will layer that down. Okay, and now I'm ready to put on my beautiful shiny leaves. But you know what? We don't want them flat. You know, I don't even know if I like this. Oh no! You know what? I meant to do that. I just wanted to do that for some dramatic effect. Were you scared for me? Were you scared for me for a minute? Okay, so look at how fun that is. I'm going to also offset it slightly so that I can see the background as well. So to adhere this down, I'm going to bring in some of the multi-purpose liquid glue, the green tube, and I'm going to put a generous amount in the middle. I don't want all of it to stick down, just mostly the middle. And again, I'm going to offset that slightly. Just going to tilt it to the left, to the left. I don't know how that song goes, but that's okay. Now the middle is mostly all stuck down. I have the tops, the edges peeking up a bit. And you know what? I just want one little side here to adhere down. So let's give that a little push. Hold it in place for a second, just so that glue can get friendly with your paper. And I think I want this one too. Just a tiny, tiny bit. I love the crinkly dimension I have from roughing those leaves up, but I also like it to lay a little bit flat. But you can see I still have lots of dimension on those leaves, and I love it. Now we're going to take our beautiful leaves, and I'm just going to, I think, scatter them all over, mostly to hide up some of my boo-boos. And let's put, I want them to look like they're falling. And I think that's too much red down at the bottom. I'm going to put this one here. All right, I'm going to take again that multi-purpose liquid glue. I have my leaves where I want them to be placed. So I'm just going to put a little on the back of here, and he's going to pop off my white mat slightly. And we'll do the same with the yellow. And they do slide a little bit, and that's what I love so much about this glue. It's very forgiving, so you can quickly replace it if you don't like where you put it. And last one, this gorgeous orange that we made. And he will go down under the bow. And there we go, our gorgeous Thoughtful Branches card made using the bundled products, Thoughtful Branches stamp set and the Beautiful Branches thinlets dies. So we have this gorgeous stamp set here. Again, it's only available for a limited time. This bundle is an amazing deal. You get 23 beautiful photopolymer stamps in here, and you get these lovely framelets and thinlets in this collection. Please, if you do not have a demonstrator, I would love it if you would contact me to purchase your bundle in August. Don't forget to redeem those bonus days coupons that you earned in July. This is a perfect bundle to use towards that. I do have a hostess code in my online shop, melissascreations.com. Click on shop now. Copy that code and you can go into my online store at melissascreations.stampinup.net and shop to your heart's content. Thank you so much for joining me on this card today. I hope you liked this project. If you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe to my channel and let me know in the comments below if you liked this. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys soon.